Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
And do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hi, folks. I'm MJ. I host the World of Conscious Positive Thinking, where we take old belief patterns and we flip them into the most conscious, positive ways that we can go to have balance, peace, and harmony in our life. So what are you doing with those old belief patterns and old belief systems that you really don't believe in anymore, but you're told to do it? We're going to flip them right here on the World of Conscious Positive Thinking, right here on our beautiful mbradio.us. Wow, the intro is still coming along, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm not an IT person. We all know this. So stick with me with that intro. It's coming because here at MB Radio, we get to have the ability to have our voice. But anyway, today, this beautiful, beautiful, magical day. Happy birthday, Jennifer Dunbar. Have to get that out. Happy birthday, Nicole. Woo! I have lots of Leos and lots of Virgos in my realm. And it's such a beautiful Lionsgate. We just had a 8. We had the full Sturgeon's moon. We have abundance on all levels. And today is so magical. August the 11th. So it's 8/11/25. You're like, MJ, no, think of it. It just rolls off your tongue. 8/11, 8/11. It's like, 1/11, 2/11. Those 11s are masteries. And so today, that mastery number combines itself with the number 25. And we're already in 2025, which is a magical abundance year to begin with, that manifestations take place. So I wanted to get this out because today it means an 8. A number 8. If anybody has numerology aspects out there, the number 8 is highly fortunate, and the angels bring you the sign to reassure you that abundance on all levels is your birthright. That's right, your birthright. Allow the angels to connect you with the infinite flow of abundance and prosperity from the angelic vaults of heaven. And that powerful, powerful angel word that's going to help you today is called self-appreciation. Woo! We go right back into the selves, just like last week, right? Self-love, unconditional love, self-esteem, self-awareness, self. Bring it back into self. Stop worrying what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying how that is interacting with you. Okay? The other key points today, there's 2 key spiritual principles of abundance, which are gratitude and self-appreciation. Do you appreciate yourself? Are you constantly saying, I don't have any money. I need money. I just don't have it. I have no money. If you are in that, having no money, then you keep putting that out there. Stop that. You are in abundance. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am an abundance. I have an abundance. It is my right to have an abundance, and I'm allowed to have it, right? It is my journey, my free right here to allow this beautifulness. So today, with those abundance, our gratitude and self-appreciation, the angels remind you that if it is paramount for you to feel good about yourself, to feel good about who you are, and what your contribution that you bring to this beautiful world. Yes, we all play dynamically. We all play intertwining one another. It's like the Venn, right? We Venn with the Venn. We Venn with it, right? And we seek and we search and we keep going out. And as you acknowledge yourself with appreciation, then you allow those doors of the universal abundance to open for you. Why? Because we are self-appreciating ourselves. We are a self-appreciation of all that is, the I am, the consciousness, right? We bring it to fruition, we bring it to light, and then we have understanding, we have self-esteem, we have self-love, we have self-validation, self-appreciation. And that was kind of last week's about unconditional love to self. It's still going, folks, because you really have to love yourself. And when you finally figure out how to embody and love every ounce of you, the angels will always assist you to see the patterns that you have created throughout your lifetime. You're now able to implement changes in your life based on all the spiritual wisdom and the physical wisdom that you have gained from past experiences and your mistakes. So move forwarding now confidentially and with gratitude, knowing that you do not have to repeat these lessons again. And the real lesson here is to trust your intuition at all times. Seriously. Trust you. Trust your gut. God gave you that beautiful soul inside of you for those libraries to open up so fully. So let's do it together. Open those up. It's a mastery day today. It's also an 11. 11 means mastering. It refers to the equality of male and female energies, combining the yin and yang together. And the angels are asking you to reflect on your life and make changes that's going to bring you harmony and balance. When you bring harmony, balance of understanding, right? I said that, of understanding, you are full of an abundance. You are full of it, and you are rewarded with that full abundance. This may refer to your work, rest, play, emotions, thoughts, your spiritual grounding, but it's time to balance our scales equally on all measures, on all faucets, everywhere. And lastly, it is, woo! Sorry about that. And lastly, it's now time to ask the angels to show you the complete picture. When you do so, the angels will deliver great knowledge and the finer details that are regarding every situation. So if it's money, right, prosperity, then they're going to deliver the knowledge to get you out of that, to how to assist that, to bring it in. And Archangel Michael is always around you, giving you the strength to stand up, to be your true self. Yes, sometimes that truth of ourself hurts, which is why the ego wants you to stick it where? Right down deep. It wants you to stick it so deep that you're not going to be able to do anything about it besides hide it, hide it, hide it. So we don't want to do that, especially today. We want to be perfectly clear. Know that we as warriors of military or veterans or first responders or any service to others, You're a warrior, man. You're a Templar. Own it. Take it. Go with it. Run with it. Because that's who you are. And it's beautiful. It's divinely beautiful. So I wanted to get that out. Why? Because today it's called the force of personality. And when you have the force of personality, that, my friends, can be quite, what's the word I want to hear? Difficult for some. I don't know if you can remember, but way back, I think episode 40, we did personality matrices, right? So the personality matrix was designed to help you understand the people in your realm that you deal with and what consciousness that they're bringing forward. And now, right, if you remember that episode, I just heard somebody going, yeah, but we're supposed to balance. Yes, you are supposed to balance. And so what that means is when you can understand the philosophies of every matrix in those 4 quadrants, you become the perfect you. The perfect you. You are the perfect you. And we always strive and to balance that perfect view to go even higher and more amplified. Does that make sense? Okay. So knowing what personality matrix that we already had today, the force of personality. Now, I've heard this not once. I've heard this numerous times in different venues. And I've heard it numerous times being shared. Now, the reason I'm explaining it is because each and every one of you could be that dominant force for yourselves. You have that ability. In fact, I'm going to share something with you. When you're at a gathering, or when you're in an office meeting, or when you are just maybe in a store, maybe you're a store owner, maybe you are a nail optician, I don't know, whatever it is, but you're in somewhere where people walk in, energy of the people walk in, and you immediately have an idea of what kind of person that person is, right? How many out there, right? Go ahead, you can tag on the thing, raise your hand saying, I do. If you get that, this is going to be really a cool episode for you, because sometimes we understand it's not a good force, or we understand it's a strong force. We understand that person who just walked in is, you can't explain it. They overtake everything. They overtake the energy. And then the energy that they're overtaking creates that vibration or that frequency of that person, especially if it's very strong. So I've been hearing, oh, the force of personality. It's the force of personality. And everyone's like, I don't know what the heck that they're talking about. So when we talk about the force of personality, it usually means like it's the power that influences somebody, that exerts simply through their presence, their character, or the charisma, regardless of formal authority or resources or even education. Wow. So you don't even have to be educated in order to have this force of personality. What a lot of people don't understand is what you center yourself around will attach to you, will create that energy near you, for you, and about you. So having somebody with a very strong force of personality, it's kind of like you go with the flow, right? The reason some people can walk into a room and change the entire energy without saying too much is their force. That energetic embodiedness that comes through, right? So today, I'm going to try to explain how you can create your own force of personality or understand what your force of personality is actually doing when you walk into a room, how people perceive you, how are they inviting towards you, right? So we have to go through all of these different ideologies, and we have to go through all of these little formats. However, we're going to take a break So when we take a break, I want you to, listen to our beautiful artists, but I also want you to get your pen and paper. Here we go again, pen and paper. Obviously it's about journaling. Everything in life, we have to journal. We have to understand that journal, and we have to understand why we're journaling it. And it helps us to sink in. It really does. Anytime that you write something, you're reaffirming into the space between your heart and your head. This is what I want. This is the affirmations. This is the positivity that I want. It's like saying mantras or malas or prayers, right? When you constantly repeat them, it is the consciousness and the energy of saying, this is what I am asking. This is what I need. And repetitive motion, it's like the squeaky wheel gets heard kind of thing, but not in a negative way, just in that beautiful, positive way. So when that happens, your life changes. When that happens, it is, you now know that the energy that you are giving and responding out to is that same energy that you are wanting back. You give out what you want back. So don't be that angry, negative person who wants to constantly talk about somebody and put them down, constantly wants to have a negative sentence coming out of your mouth, constantly earing and aching and oohing and disappointment on earth, or the ultimate, who is just the angry bipartisan standard. Okay, I understand there are mental illnesses out there. I understand. There's depression out there. I understand. Yes, I do. All too well, because I treat them. I'm part of them. I'm part of their life, and showing them how to heal that anger, that depression, or that PTSD, that trauma that makes us that red anger thing. So when we go through these, this is where we now get to kind of step back and be that person going, do I really like that energy? Or do I just put my boundaries up and I proceed somewhere else, right? Get that strong. When we get to be that strong, then we understand. And we understand the slightest little ripple in the water. We're not judging it. It's not a judgment. Please, please, please out there. This is not a judgment. This is understanding, and this is owning the energy that you demand. The body demands a certain form of energy. Do not allow energies that do not balance you. Walk away, step back. That was the whole idea about teaching the personal matrix, how to balance with these matrix type of people. And the only time you can do that is to have the awareness of that understanding. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's go to our first break, so then we can dive in with our pens and paper, how we're going to create our own force of personality, our own force of authenticity. And then I'm going to show you some examples of some, besides me, right? How others and this is how I arrange myself. This is how it within my beings that I could do this. So we're going to start the morning. And I heard it on Trace Around show. Let me show you. It is the Star Spangled Banner by Dave Bray. And honestly, it's nothing like you ever heard. It is so freaking phenomenal. I started following him just because of Trace Arounds. Her name is Terry Lynch. She's a podcaster here, and she had them on the show. She always interviews mainly musicians, which is so cool because music just rings and vibrates in a way of healing. So let's go to the Star Spangled Banner by Dave Barry. And then when we come back, make sure you have your pen and paper, because this is going to help you, how you influence the energies of the room and how you become that dominant force, a personality that there's no words that need to be had. They already know who you are. So you're listening to MJ. You're here on the World of Conscious Positive Thinking on the beautiful station of mbradio.us. We'll be right back.
Can you see by the dawn false trials and bright stars through the perilous fights. Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket transplant, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land under the fray, and the home of the brave? Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in the name of the brave. We are the US of A. For those unaware, that flag is still there. It's our future to save. Stand of the brave, the US of A. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free, in the home of the
There we go. That is Dave Bray, Star Spangled Banner. Bet you never heard it like that before. That is so awesome. The first time I heard it, I just wanted more and more and more. So thank you guys at MBR for putting it in my library so that I can allow all my beautiful listeners as well to hear such a beautiful fet of Dave Bray. Okay, so we were talking about the force of personality, right? It's the force of your personality that changes directives anytime that you walk into a room, walk away from a room, or just be present, right? So here we go. The force often comes from a mix of these 5 things. Authenticity, right? You have to be authentic. You can't go around and you know these people. These people who are not authentic will not ever carry a force of personality because it's the untruth. It's being deeply yourself and not trying to copy others. So what does that mean? That means that you have a lot of people, your narcissists out there, there's one of them. When a narcissist walks into the room, they have employed themselves to be grandioso, right? Woo, they are grand beyond grand, those narcissists. However, they're copying something that the other side of the head doesn't normally see. So that's why there's most people who get to understand going, this energy does not belong together. And then there's a very big diversity and it ends up like Jaggers. It ends up not even nicely. It just ends up exploding on them. So to have a force of personality, you have to be your truthful self. And guess what? Those who can truly be their own self, their true self, somebody else judges them, they don't care. They don't care. It's okay. Why? Because I am who I am. I learn my life lessons and I have to take the knocks like everybody else. So being your authentic self, please don't try to use this authenticity by pretending you want to be somebody else. You'll fall flat in your face in this exercise. Okay. The next one is confidence. Confidence. That is a calm reassurance in your own worth and abilities, that you don't have to get down in somebody's face and start. No, that's not imbuing, what's the word? Embodying confidence. That there is saying, you're just going to do what I say. And they start, right? Confidence. True force of personality comes in as a reassurance, comes in with confidence, can speak. Yeah, depending on their age. Maybe they have CRS and they can't get the words, but they speak with random. They're not twitching their feet, twitching their bodies, twitching these, twitching that, knowing that there's an underlying ailment. They're speaking their truth. They're giving you the truth. You may not like it, but how do you not like somebody who gives you the truth? Because it hurts your feelings? Well, then suck up, buttercup. Pull those big panty girls' pants on. Because then that's on you. We call it home suck ascend. It's back on you. Face yourself. If you don't like somebody's embodiment of who they are, there's no judgment. Every religion, every denomination, do not judge. Not allowed. Don't judge it. Because then that karma plays divinely out on you. So we're not going to judge it, right? So confidence is the calm assurance in your own worth and your own abilities. If you went to school and you did all this education and you know that you did the best that you could and sometimes maybe you're the top of the class, right? The valedictorian, do you know how confident they are? Do you know how beautifully embodied that they are? Because they studied, they did the work. When you do the work, it amplifies the energy. It amplifies the frequency within when you do the work. When you don't do the work, you stammer, you stutter, and then things can't get in line and you really haven't forced it. So having that confidence, key points, folks, key points, right? Okay. Emotional energy. We go to now emotional energy. Emotional energy is how you project enthusiasm, warmth, and intensity. How do you come with your emotional energy? Are you angry and bitter? I mean, if anybody's angry and bitter, you're like, whoa, right? Or you might have some people with emotional energies that the minute that they get near you, you're like, oh my God, I'm so sleepy. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Why? It just feels like somebody just sucked every ounce of energy out of your being. Yeah. There's people walking around like that. And you're like, I don't want to be near them. I have nothing against them, but I love my energy. I don't want them sucky bombs to take it out of me. Right? But you know those people, right? Now, what can you do? Saying, oh, I got to work with them, MJ. Okay, not a problem. So even if you do have to work with them, you can still do that. You can still work them, put my shields up, right? Pretend you're Spock, put my shields up, right? Get your shields ready. Know that energy is not welcome. Bury it, Have your angels come. Have your warriors come. Blocking it. Peace of mind. Pay no attention. Pay no mind. Especially if you have to work with somebody like that. If you don't, then you just walk away. If you're at a party or gathering, you just smile and say, my God, it's great to see you. Give me a minute. I need to go to the bathroom, or give me a minute. I need to go refill my drink, or whatever. And then you don't have to worry about those emotional energies. But emotional energy, for you to become that force of personality, you have to be on top. You need to be enthusiastic. You need to be warm. You need to be intensity. You need to have love within your heart, because when you love yourself. Remember, we talked about that self-love right here. We talked about it in the beginning, and we also talked about it before in Personality Matrix, and we talked about it last week, that unconditional love, that self-love back to you. People feel it. People feel it on airways. People feel it when you walk into the room. People feel it if you have your own companies. They feel that beautiful energy, and that's all they want. They want to relieve themselves of any of that stress. Going to a parties, they want to relieve. They want to have fun. So imagine if you are a force of personality with a negative Nancy attitude, right? Then it's not so much. Then we have the next, one of the next energies, and that is the clarity of the vision, right? Clarity of vision. What does that mean? It means people feel your purpose. My very first episode on MBR was life purpose, soul purpose. What is your purpose? And I was really more facing, since it was MBR radio and they more target veterans, that targeting helps to identify what that vision is. So if the vision is to help other vets and pull them out of those three constraints, those courage, pride, and anger, those were those constraints of that military person. Because those are the frequencies that make a brilliant soldier or a Templar or a warrior. Those are our defense, our DOD, courage, anger, pride. Those three, they're patriots. Those are the energies of the patriots. Just think about it. I'm going to pause for a minute. Think about that. Think about, especially if you are any type of service to others and the industries of first responders, police, FBI, CIA, anything that's going to cause an abruption of dislawlessness or disorientation, that clarity of vision. You need to have that purpose. I am here on a purpose. Take emotion out. I am here on a purpose, and I'm here for directions of others. Right? Now we go into a softer. You have your clergymen, your priests, your pastors, your reverends, their purpose. Where's their direction? Their purpose. Well, that purpose and that direction now comes from more of a soul. I'm here for the purpose to direct you into love, to balance, to understand, directly into the soul. Take your leaders, clarity of vision. They write their order. This is what's going to happen. I don't care what political leader, not just the United States, every single one around the world. When you run for an office space, right? From the smallest thing, like maybe the county clerk, or you're looking at a judge or a commissioner or a senator or whatever, you are looking at a position of purpose. So you need to have that clarity of vision for that purpose. You want that job, you're going to go in and you're looking for a job. Well, that HR person, I laugh HR because of Terry, but they feel that energy. They know that force of personality. They are keen to these key points. They are keen to say, this person just might be causing trouble, or this person is one of those that have all the qualifications, but there's something else there, because that force of personality energy is not sticking them. You can have the best resume, and when your energy isn't there and your force of personality is destroyed or it is broken, and you try to muster it, it doesn't work. That will collapse on you. That is the building blocks of a collapsed building. Okay, let's get to the next one. That one is called the magnetic of communications, your tone, your body language, your words in harmony. Have you ever heard somebody that said, who is this? Jose Flores. Ooh, Jose Flores. What is this? This is a big long one. So it says, hi, MJ, much love. Yes, negative energy used to be my kryptonite, but know I bring the love and positive energy. Took me a minute to get there. I wake up with motivation, mission, and purpose every day to set my day. Thank you, MJ, for this awesome message. You're very welcome for that awesome message. Oh, Jose, you're so beautiful, so energetically bound, and his smiles is as infectious as anything. And it is just sometimes when you meet energetic people, just like Jose himself, you just want to grab a hold of him like an energy beacon and he doesn't want to hold on and go, I just need all this energy source. That is what we're talking about, the force of personality. You get to hear some of these people and see some of these people, and you just want to hold them. So the magnetic of communication, his tone, his body, it's everything that is yummylicious, right? And so when you find that yummylicious, you really just feel like, I just need this in my life. Maybe you're not coming from a yummylicious point, and maybe we need to heal. And guess what, folks? The bottom line is set your truth. When you set your truth, the truth always wins. The truth always prevails itself. The truth will always surrender. The truth is always there, right? It's going to come out. May take 4 years, 8 years, 15 years, but the truth will always, maybe 60 something years like JFK. It's going to come out. Are you in the precipice of the conscious mind to then say, I understand, just let it go? Or I understand, and let's get to the truth so that we don't have to talk about this subject ever again. Where's your personality matrix? Which one is it? Yeah. We're going to pause on that because I'm going to go to a break. But what you need to know, where we're getting to in this one, is historically leaders, healers, visionaries all have relied on the force to inspire others. They rally communities, they start shifting the paradigm, they shift collective mindsets, and very, very often without needing little or formal power. I say that again, often without needing, but I say a title or any type of formal power like an education. They have it within them to do the right thing, to be magnets so that you can follow in their footsteps and you can raise above it up. That is positive force of personality. I don't talk negative force of personality. Why? Because negative force of personality is not going to get anybody anywhere. You're going to succumb into a rabbit hole, and then you're going to succumb into the hamster wheel. And when all of that happens, you go in a downward spiral. You are the depressed. You are the anxiety ridden. You are the one with the anger and the resentment towards others. So talking of force of personality, you never want it to be in that mindset. You always want it to be in the positive mindset, because when you actually have that positive mindset, everybody who has that same inkling of parallel learning, life lesson, energy, they are going to attract to you, right? So if you can develop and amplify what it is that you do for a living, your force of personality. And so when we come back, I'm going to take you through some of these so that you can create. And I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm going to show you how mine. That is not self-centeredness when I said that. I want to be very clear for people who are listening who may not be as healed. I'm going to tell you how I do this, because what I hear is I can walk and I can smile into somebody, and all of a sudden I hear as a healer, as a spiritual healer, I am just a board for them. I'm a wall for them to express. I don't even know some of these people, and they just start talking to me, and they will tell me almost their whole life story before I can get a word in edgewise. They felt comfortable. They felt the force of personality. They felt the force of energetic healing. They felt that force. So when they feel that's, people ask me about my stores down in Colley Square. Well, when you have a positive reinforcement force and you are embodying of helping and serving of others and healing of others without judgment, that is force of personality. They know that. let me show you how it breaks down. Let's go to our next artist that we have in our library, and I want to play Waye Jennings. It is called One Folded. It's the and you can watch it. It's his official. Waye Jennings is Waylon Jennings' son. Deep voice, sounds just, almost just like him. And he literally has this called The One Folded. And I want to play it because we're going to get into how patriots, this force of personality helps beautiful patriots get through. So today we're going to do Waylon Jennings, One Folded. Again, you're listening to mbradio.us. My name is MJ here on this station. My podcast is called The World of Conscious Positive Thinking. I want everybody to peel and flip old belief patterns that no longer exist, made by man. And when you listen to me long enough, you'll know made by man means it's human, not a male energy. It is human energy who has distorted your way of positive thinking. Believe it or not, your ego and your judgment is made by that. So if you're new here, understand man means human when I say it. So let's go to Waylon Jennings, One Folded, and we'll be right back.
Through with this, then I watched the evening news. There were folks that still wouldn't stand for the old red, white, and blue. At first it made me fight and mad how they think that that's okay. Then I thought they just don't understand, and given a chance I'd say, have you ever been there when taps was played or for a 21-gun salute? Had to hear the words you never want to hear? Have you ever had to face that truth? When a son or daughter didn't come back home to a family so devoted, then you might not disrespect our flag. If you'd ever been handed one folded, have you seen a heartbroken mother or a father fall to his knees? Been there when a family got the news that your freedom wasn't free? Have you seen a flag draped coffin? If you did, how did it make you feel to know a soldier died to give you the right to stand or kneel? Most of us are immigrants, proud to call America home. And I'll stand for the red, white, and blue, even if I gotta stand alone. 'Cause I've been there when taps was played for a 21-gun salute. I had to hear the words I didn't want to hear. Yeah, I had to face that truth. When a son and daughter didn't come back home to a family so devoted, you never disrespect our flag. If you'd ever been handed one folded, you never disrespect our flag. If you'd ever been handed one folded, one folded.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program. are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
We're back. That was Way Jennings, One Folded, and just paying homage to all of those who stood for our rights, our freedoms, our values, our morals here in the United States of America, who understood what a patriot and courage really is, and to helping us live a more protective, a more safer, and a more dynamic life here in the United States. Thank you, Way. Thank you so much. Okay, back to our force of personality. So you might have heard, I'm just going to give you an example of what I'm talking about in case we're still don't understand what force of personality. So the first person I want to bring up is Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King, he just didn't persuade through like logical argument. He moved people. He moved them from their soul. He moved them from their heart space and their truth. And when you move people in that deep, because his convictions, his compassion, his his moral courage radiated from him. It was, if you ever watched him speak, even on TVs or films, he embodies with the compassion with he's speaking, with his conviction of his words. And the way that he spoke and he stood and connected with the people, he wasn't all over the place. He didn't use teleprompters. He spoke his truth. When somebody stands on a podium and speaks their truth, you're listening. You're not wondering what he's reading from. You're not wondering, yeah, they're getting really good and putting teleprompters behind the cameras so that people can see them, or, you know, they're getting really good at it. But back then, my friend, Mr. Martin Luther King, he stood there and he spoke, he stood, and he made the connection with the people and inspiring the trust and the action which he wanted everybody to follow. He was a phenomenal leader. So in everyday life, that you might notice in it, right? You have those certain people who will stand in that energy. Just like another one would be like Maya Angelou. What's her name? Angelo? Maya Angelou? Anyway, Angelou, Angelo. Anyway, I just know her as Maya. And I know, like, when she comes into presence on stage, without even introducing her, people just feel that, woo, that dignity, that wisdom, that warmth. And then how she presents her posture and her calm gazing and her smile and that beautiful grounded voice that's created, it creates a beautiful atmosphere of where, like, people really want to listen. And then it wasn't just in her words, it was how she portrayed herself. And it wasn't just her words, it was the energy that she carried and her live experience and her self-mastery when she went to stage. Angela, I think it's Angelou. I think there's like a L-O-U or L-U-O. She's a speaker. But yeah, Maya. But you can, like, I'm trying to give you those agnostic people where you feel, before they even come out, Ozzy Osbourne, right? His big farewell, his presence of taking you back to a memory, taking you back to a place, that is perfect force of, look at that force of personality. Bam! You already knew the words to those songs. You already embodied the energy before you got there. You knew what to expect going to that concert. These are forces of personality. They play the music just like our beautiful artists. But then when you get to actually interview them, you find out who they are, what type of person they are, right? Because illusion is, I don't say anything and I'm a model. But yet when you look at the force of personality, a lot of these models don't make it. They get to be money, and then their force of personality destroys them and they're lost in time. Okay. Now, let's get down further into this. So in everyday life, you might notice that in a teacher whose students automatically respect and feel safe around them, right? Think about going to college. Think about online. Think about how you grew up. It may be, just maybe, it was even in like a church babysitter or a church catechism class or something. You knew right away by the teachers whose students automatically respected the teacher and they felt very safe around them. Now, a healer whose presence makes people feel calmer before a word is spoken. Again, it's the energy in which they embode. Are you confident in healing? Are you confident as the teacher? As a community leader who just likes to unite people just by showing up and listening? How many people go into their community meetings just because they want to hear the commissioner, they want to hear their senator, their House of Representatives? They want to hear them. They embode that community leader to say, yes, enforce these things. This is what I want. You see how well this force of personality can play? Because if you elected a leader, but you really didn't like the attitude, but you like what he does, right? You understand that some people are be like, yeah. I'll follow you because I know what you're going to do is right, but your personality sucks and they don't want to come, right? Or your personality doesn't match the job description. That's another one, force of personality. Are you a giggler? Are you just a happy-go-lucky person who doesn't have a care or a thought, who just wants to be a free spirit? I love those people. But they really wouldn't make a really good community leader, or they wouldn't make a really good teacher, Then that aspect, you'd want to flow with that motion, right? They're the people who, if you need a giddy up or a pick me up, they're those people, right? You need to have that giddy up with them. You're not looking for a solution to any problem. You just want to set free. So I'm flipping that pattern a little bit. I understand what I just said about that person, but there is a purpose. We all have a purpose. It may not be the force of personality purpose that we're trying to teach today, but there is a purpose. So don't go back and say, MJ said. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear MJ said. So I want you to understand that those happy, good-looking, carefree, my beautiful hippies, wanderer, vagabond gypsies who just love life, that is their force of personality. But they're not there for any other reason just besides the acknowledgement of the presence of beauty. And if that's where your mind frame is, then yes, that force of personality embodes you in taking that course of action. See, we flipped it. It's not how I wanted to say it in the beginning, but we flipped it to be very positive. So everything in life is positive as long as we can flip the pattern of man's egoic standards, and then we have a beautiful outlay. Okay. So I'm going to give you how, when I started to get into my stores, my holistics, my healing stores, my metaphysical stores, my energetic stores, such as the salt caves or the infrareds, or any energetic healings, or even my native shaman stores. So these stores embodied some of these people who needed to feel a connection, because man structure took them away from a higher divine spirit of God. Think about it. And at work, if you don't have a owner or a boss or an employer who embodies the highest vibration of God presence, or the I am presence, you're going into a company that is the same mediocre grind that everybody else is going to. Yes, I have to go to work because I have to take a paycheck, and the work doesn't really bother me. It's a paycheck. You know those people? They just take a paycheck. I used to be one of them a long time ago. I used to do that just because I wanted money. I just wanted to have a paycheck. So I didn't really care what job I had. Tasty Freeze, as a kid, worked at Tasty Freeze or worked at Steakhouse. I just wanted to have extra money. Why? Because there was only so much money you're going to get from your parents, right? I mean, in the middle class world, or lower, they're not extremely wealthy. So you get X amount of money and it's too bad, too sad, because it's now a desire, not a need of living. So you want those jobs. Did that anchor you? There was a purpose, right? You had a life purpose there. It may have been the fundamentals of starting of what business is, of how to make money. It may have been in a youth time to understand this is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to work in order to make money. And if you want more money, then you have to have a little bit more education to get the money. Force of personality doesn't mean that you have to have an education. Force of personality is the willingness to show the achievement levels in which you strive for. There's a difference. Okay. So when I start my day, I start my force of personality the minute I open up my eyes. And this is where you can write it down. Whichever you are you a teacher? Are you a healer? Are you a community leader? Are you a business person? I don't know how you start your days, but I'm going to show you how I use force of personality and what I do. And maybe that can help those out there kind of ornate in your mind. So basically my force is I have several qualities that I constantly want into my day, right? So when I have these kind of qualities as my anchors, I start with my anchors. What are my anchors? My anchors are, who am I? What is my purpose? My purpose is this is how we have to start this force of personality. So go deep and be honest with yourself. Know who you are. Even if you say, oh my God, I am a narcissist and somebody's pointed it out and it's just okay, you fight those demons hard. And then you make your anchors. My anchors. I'm a giver. I'm a healer. I'm service to others, and I'm a truth teller. These are my anchors. These are what make me who I am. I understand that sometimes people don't like me to speak out because I speak my truth. Truth never lies. It can never lie. Have you ever heard somebody going, hey, I need you to, do you remember? And then they tried and you can't remember it because it was a lie. Yeah, you don't really remember all the things in a lie, but you can remember everything about a truth because your truth is recorded within the Akashic Library. It's recorded. So when I start my anchors are always, I am a giver to others. I am a healer. I am service to others. I am a truth teller. This is who I embodied my personal energy. Now, I can tell you the people who end up being a chronic fairy tale teller or a chronic disposition, oh, why is me? They don't come near me too much anymore. Because either they know that I'm going to seek out their truth, they know I'm going to call them out, or they know that they're not ready to be healed. And they're the people who start the name calling. They can't think of any other words, so they start name calling you things, right? Or they'll start trying to find things within your realm. And now you have to back that up and flip it. If you are a person that happens to, flip it. Only you can do that. You have the choice to do that. Nobody can help you do that. You have to do it. So make sure when you start your anchoring, you're anchoring big, you're anchoring deep, and you are anchoring on your truths that identify you. Okay. So now that I have that, I do my daily essence check-ins, right? So what I end up doing in the morning is I align all my thoughts, I align my body, I align my intentions with these qualities so that they radiate naturally and truthfully, and they embody my body of that energy. Grounding. So I have to ground those in, right? I know some of my healers, they'll do all the attunements and push them back in. I know some of my teachers who will go and just ask for the most blessed day. If there's anything that they need to be aware of, please bring it forward so that they can just clear it one time and then their day goes on. I'm sure as communities, I'm sure as teachers, and I'm sure as community leaders, right? Or bosses. They wake up and ask for a bountiful day, that everything is balanced, everything is beautiful. When harmony and peace and balance render, then abundance renders, an abundance of happiness and joy, health, an abundance of good karma, an abundance of prosperity, an abundance of love, you name it. When everything can balance. So if I was a boss, like I used to be, those would be my anchors. Balance, understanding, truth, right? Those would be my anchor. Do you see how that's going? Okay. And then I always take my daily essence. And then from my daily essence, I go into my grounding practices. For me, it is a meditation in the morning. It's prayer. It's ritual. It's embodying whichever deity of the day that I'm bringing in. And I put that into my breath work. And so then I'm fresh and ready for whatever is going to come or I have to receive from that energy. And I can hold my stance, right? It helps you and it helps those around you understand who you are. Okay, so that is it. Anchor your core essence. Now, then the second thing you want to do is cultivate your presence of energy. So when you cultivate that presence of energy, it's the people feel you before they hear you. They already see you. They see you coming. So this is a presence, right? So I know some of the older folks who are baby boomers now, or the Gen X's, they are that bridge. So I'm a bridger. I bridge that in my, where I fit. I'm the bridger of baby boomers and X's. I'm right there on that cusp. And when that happens, right now, we have to figure out what is the best for us. How's it going to go? How's it going to move? And so there so it's your presence of your energy. Do you want to look appropriate? Do you look like you just got out of bed? Or do you look like you're refined? Or have you completely overdone and everything, and with plastic surgery and dyeing of our hairs and making sure? Why are you doing that? That is not your presence. I'm not saying feel good about yourself, but to feel good about yourself does not mean self-mutilation. So now we have to go back into self in order to have a force of personality work for you. So remember that, okay? Be who you are and be happy for every single thing. I tell everybody I love myself, including my gypsy yellow tooth and the big slice on my head. It's a reminder of how reckless of a child I was to split my face open. It's a story I can laugh about now. I'm sure at the time I was crying like a little girl, and I remember it, and I was hysterical. However, today I smile and I remember the resilience that I had. That is that force of it. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right? It made me stronger, all right. It made me wiser, right? We don't ride a sled on the side of a building, right? We move all the way around to it. Anyway, cultivating that presence of energy, posture and stillness. Stand or sit in open, relaxed, comfortable positions, relaxing your shoulders, steadying your mind, steadying your eye contact to follow within your words, right? And calm breath. Remember, whatever comes out of your mouth at this cultivating a presence energy has to represent your body, your posture, your stillness. How do you present your body? Then you have the energetic field of expansion. You visualize the expanding. I visualize my light going out, 3 to 6 feet from around me. They always say my 6 feet of space, right? When we clear energy, when we're doing our prayers and we're doing our meditations, how many people have sat in my circles with doing a shaka, right? We're doing the shaktis and we're taking them out. Right? We're taking that energy, we're cutting that energy out, visualizing that light expanding beyond our realm, beyond our aortic fields before entering that space, so that our aura already is engaging and engineering everybody else to say, whoa, I love that vibe. That's a higher vibe. That's what they want. They want somebody to be lifting them up as well as you. And the last one of cultivating your presence energy is silence is power. So it's funny, that one, because that one is speak and then pause a minute. For healers and for priests or reverends or social workers, you speaking so quickly and so fast without pause doesn't allow the person listening to just step back a minute and go, wait a minute, does that resonate with me? Or doesn't that resonate with me? One or the other. It has to happen. Okay, so that's step 2 of how I have my force of personality. And that one is just called the cultivative of presence energy. Your presence embodies. So I got to take another break, folks. Let's go into, my boys. Let's go to Crow. I love Crow. This one, when Crow was with Third Class, he brought it in. It's called Into the Light. And exactly, when you start understanding some of these forces, that energy allows us, in order for our speech and our communication to others, we got to walk into the light sometimes. And when we do, everything just shows up beautifully. So you listen to MBRadio.us. My name's MJ. My show here is the World of Conscious Positive Thinking, and we'll be right back.
The station where our veterans' voices are heard, MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
The web at mbradio.us.
I don't know how that got cut off, but that was my boy Crow. I think on the Morning Wood show, Holly and H played one of his new one. So he originally left the band Third Class, and he went on his own, Old Crow. And he's now doing it. I think they played that, and I know they have it in here because I'll be playing that next, because I think they put it in my library. I gotta see it. Anyway, back to the force of personality. Okay, so we just did how I render my force of personality with cultivating presence of energy. Now I go down and I use something called the embody charisma. It embodies me. So my happiness, my aloovedness, embodies without me even be, it's a pretense. Like, it's just a glow. So do I come in dancing full of energy? Most of the time I did. I used to look at everybody's energy as a boss. And before I even start the day, I told them, go sign in, but come back to me. And I asked, how's it going? What's going on? It's because I cared. I was a healer. That is that energy. If I can see the energy that you're not feeling good in the morning, let's talk about it. I know a lot of bosses are like, there's no way. I understood, but that's what I got out of. I was in that no way boss surrendering. And then I had to make that change in my life, because beyond anything, human life comes before anything. Comes before money, comes before my buildings being open. That's where I became in my life. So I embodied the charisma without the pretense. I embodied it, right? And I was generally warm to people, greeting people like they're already valued in my life. I loved them. They could have had any issue that they wanted with me. And there was some. They could not balance with my charisma. But it's my store, so they had to go. And do you know that almost 90% of the people who left any of my jobs are still my friends today, or my acquaintances, or we renewed a new relationship pattern? It is that embodiment of charisma I'm talking about. And it's just how you greet people, how you listen to them, how you feel their value. And it's actively listening to them. If you are this person and you can't listen to what's going on, it reflects back what others say to make you feel seen. Yeah. So here you go. Are you valuing there and how they're listening? Are you not listening, going, yeah. You're not valuing. And they feel that. They feel that within. And then you have, I call it my signature gestures, which is usually a consistent, like, hand movements, facial expressions, enjoyment, even sense. Like when they would walk in, there's certain smells. Why? Because our sensory of our, of how we perceive somebody. So your five senses make up this force of personality, is basically how it is, all the way down to how do they smell. I could be a happy-go-lucky, but as soon as somebody gets me and I smell like BO, do you think they want to get near my sixth sense of space? They'll be like, MJ, listen, you crazy little hippie gypsy, you need to go, let me go hose you off, or let me get the pressure spray. You're right. You understand? Okay. So then we go to number 4. And for me, and I understand you're doing it for yourself, but I'm just telling you how I worked my force of personality. Then what I did is I infused my spiritual authority, right? I speak from my lived truth. I share my personal experiences alongside of trying to teach you how I flip them. I also use sacred language sparingly, so it feels that it's potent, but not overwhelming to those who don't understand it. Right? I try to dumbify things and break things down. I love when I get high spiritualists who come and want to talk to me, and I get it all the time. And blah, 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 and they're going and going and going as if I know what some of these words mean. And I go, wait, I love you. Can I get a word in edgeway? Wait, stop. I don't even know what you're talking about here. We have to break it down, right? Because there's more than one way in my realm to feel that high vision. It doesn't have to follow the path that I took. Everybody's different. So follow that path. The bottom line is you need to speak your live truth, and you need to use sacred language that's understandable in order for the collective to understand you. And then you have to be in a calm center, like calming of the, what do they call that? Being calm within the chaos, right? That was easy for me. Maybe because I didn't have fear. I don't fear death, which is the biggest fear. I had the biggest fear of trusting people, and it has proven to be why. And when you figure out that you can trust people, and it's the trust factor that if they lie, it's on them. You're not going to hurt me with your lies anymore. Because if I even think it's a lie, I don't even put my energy into it. So these are all infusions of my spiritual authority that I bring into my force of personality. And then I go into, how do I shape my public image? How do I increase my public image? Well, visual consistency. Here we are. I'm on here, right? How I dress, my clothes. Listen, look at my backdrop. I am easy. I'm carefree. I'm okay just to give my truth. Someone's like, MJ, I don't like your backdrop. Okay, well, that's on you. Right? Why do I have to be uniformed? Why do I have to be uniformed even though I am part of an existence? Who's authoritative figuring that uniform? Right? If I put my uniform on, do you think it embodes my personality? Do you think it embodes who I am? Do you think it embodes that vision of that reality check? No. That's why sometimes as employees, we lose our way. We lose it because we're forced to be exactly like somebody else is asking us to be. Soldiers, pickled, right? Remember that first day of basic training? You were pickled. Nobody had anything else besides a green shirt, green pants, black boots, black socks, a t-shirt, common white underwear, and your dog tags. Oh, and let's not forget your hat, right? Everybody. Didn't know if they had long hair, short hair, because women had to have their hair up at all times. So you even know how long their hair was, or if there was curly, if it was straight, what do they look like? I know military has changed in its paradigm, but this is what I went through, right? Pickling everybody. The same way when I got out into the real world and not the military, and I was told how I had to wear, what I had to wear, what image they were trying to achieve, especially since I was always in the face of the public, right? So that's shaping the public image. Your visual consistency, your clothes, colors, symbols, photography should reflect your essence. And mine, it has to reflect my spiritual essence if you're going to see me. Why? Because that's who I am. My vocal signatures, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's my ceremonies, whether it's my talks, keep the tone to feel it's soothing, it's healing. Let's flip old patterns. Let's be confident, and let's distinctively focus on you. Yes, because I am service to others. I'm not service to self. That would be a narcissist, right? If I'm service to self and that lower vibration, then I could give a shit what you all think of me. I do care what you think of me, but I care in a way that is promoting healing, hence the force of my personality. I'm trying to help you understand the paradigm that man has created. Do you see how all this is working into my force of personality? Okay. And then you have the magnetic. Shaping the public image is magnetic storytelling, weaving the wisdom into narrative that invites people into your world. I'm not stagnated. I'm not keeping everybody out. If you know me, you know who I am. Why? Because no matter what I've lived through, no matter, people go, you can't tell people that. Why? Why? What, I'm supposed to sweep it underneath the carpet, underneath the mattress? I mean, that's the old man paradigm. No, I'm real. I had a guest on, and I don't know her episode, but you can look it up, Dallas Freya. She'll tell everybody, I was incarcerated. She's a beautiful, if you would look at her, you would never believe it in a million years. She's a beautiful Barbie doll. You just want to hug her and smush her and hold on to her. And then when you realize how strong she is, even she's a very tiny lady, but she's strong, very strong. And she'll tell you, I made a mistake. But was it a mistake consciously, or did I just want out? Well, that's something that it was her choice that she has to have done. But these are all magnetic storytellings. So now her charisma, her beauty, her intentions, her anchors, her consciousness all embode the beauty that somebody wants to listen to her. And she'll tell you that her truth and her stories. So remember that, shaping the public's eye, right? Sometimes people hear what you did and all of a sudden they have a judgment against you. Well, for my friend Dallas, she doesn't care because she knows her path. That's their path of judgment. That's not her. That's not her. And that's how we need to be. Who gives a rat's butt what you think? If I'm harming you or hurting you, then that's a different story. But if I'm talking my truth and it's salvage of salvation and flipping of humanity's kindness and words of consciousness, you hate that paradigm. I always tell people, if you hate being up here, if you're angry on top of this mountain for any reason, it is on you. Heal you. Okay. And then the last one is the practice of the situational amplification. That means high energy events, the project, bigger gestures, brighter tones, making it more for people to engage better. And then I have then I have my intimate healing. And it's more of my softer voice, my lean in voice. Have you ever heard when I get really low? I really need that to sink in, right? I'm going to slow down. I'm going to change my tone. I'm going to change my pace. And we're going to breathe into it. That is the practice of situational amplification. Intimate healing, public speaking, allowing your truth of emotion and your words to come to fruition. Believe in what you're doing. Okay. Now, there is a huge force, a personality that maintains on earth. So before even stepping into public or a sacred space, imagine that beam of light for healers. If you're here as a healer, connecting that light, connecting from the very, very top of our head and all the way down into our grain of our feet. We're like a big flagpole, right? We're grounded into earth and we're astrologically, and this balances humility and grace. Humility and grace with authority and divine calling energy calling in so that people feel both safe and drawn. That way I can help in understanding the truth. They are already secure that what I'm saying is there. Got it? So when I'm doing circles or I'm doing these, this is what I go through. This is what I remind myself. This is what I keep repetizing into my being so that that is how I can project and I can let other people understand who I am. Do some people not like it? Sure. They'll turn the other way. They'll run the other way. I mean, run. And they won't call. They won't look. Why? Because they're not healed enough to be within my presence. Now, this is my force of personality. So let's get down into the forces of personality that, where is my, I have to have notes here because these people, I have to read how I looked at them. So give me 1 second. Hold on. Okay. So take a big old deep breath, everybody, because I know not everybody thinks alike here. All right. However, when I started hearing about the force of personality, it was actually on a BBC News thing, right? I was watching BBC News. I was more or less interested about King Charles. I'm a fascinated believer of the royals. I love watching the dynamics of the royals and the healing that's taking place and the dynamic of how it's evolving. So, of course, I listen a lot to BBC News because I want to hear about them. And I'm kind of grossly attached to it for whatever reason, but we'll figure it out. Anyway, so on BBC, of course, our new administration, our president has a huge force of personality, right? And I'm going to laugh. So don't click off, even if you didn't, because you might learn something of why you don't like him or why you do like him, right? Doesn't matter. I'm not talking politics here. I'm trying to explain how the force of personality is working and why it works for people. So Mr. Trump, or President Trump's force of personality, our military, your commander-in-chief, you must respect it, is a good example of how someone can strongly influence others directly through a combination of confidence, boldness, and certainty. He almost has the same qualities as a soldier: courage, pride, and anger. Think of that. Woo! Right? Whether you agree with him or not, courage, pride, and anger, they're the three that make up people who are in a life and death. Cops, FBI, CIA, soldiers, SEALs. These people put their life in danger for our freedom. Courage, pride, anger. Trump, he is, right? Confidence, boldness, and certainty. Boy, these, if you actually look at the frequencies, they correlate. They do correlate. Okay. What are those traits, right? So now we're going to break down those traits. And here we go. So the first trait that he has is an absolute self-belief system, right? He speaks as if his viewpoint is unquestionably correct, no matter what, which projects authority, the authoritative, right? This is going to happen. Think about man's conditioned patterns to you. You have a job, you have a parent, and your elder or your authoritative person speaks, you react. Baby boomer, X, some of Z, and then where's the millennials? This is where it gets tricky, right? This is also the confidence that draws the supporters to value the decisions of his leadership. Right? Okay, that's his self-belief. And he draws them in because he is confident in what he is saying. And he has done his homework and he's doing what he's actually telling you he was going to do. The directive and repetitive messaging, constant, repetitive with President Trump. He's a repetitive person. And if the repetitiveness is leaning one side or the other, then the people who did vote for him, they're like, oh my God, shut up already. Like, oh, there's other people who's like, preach it, preach it, preach it, preach it. Get it in there, right? But directive, repetitive messaging using simple, memorable phrases like make America great again, right? To anchor that message going in. We need to bring it back. We need to have stability. We need to have easy peasy lemon squeezy without inflation. We need his repetitive words, making it great, making it great, making it great is what you're conscious and unconscious is bringing in back into the conscious because of his repetitiveness, his direct repetitive statements. He reinforces this constantly so that it's a brainwashing mechanism into the brain and not negatively. It's telling you, you can be great. You could stand tall. That's what he's preaching. He just does it in a very bold stance. Now we go to number 3. Energy and dominance of the space. Well, in rallies, he moves on that stage and he demands that activity on the stage. He points directly at people and uses the large gestures that he has, and he maintains a very commanding physical stature on the stage, claiming his audience, claiming that energy he is pushing out. He sees his energy pushing out. He sees his brainwaves pushing out, and he's showing it. And his showmanship, oh my gosh, that's number 4, his showmanship, right? Now he treats political communication like an entertainment field with timing of his jokes, teasing his opponents, and telling stories to keep whatever facet of brain that you are. Now he's captivating you. Why? Because whether it's his jokes or whether it's with his little slander at others, proving his dominance of his force, I don't agree with, okay? I'm telling you what's happening, how he has become a force of personality, that they are talking about it. The EU is talking about it. The Asian markets are talking about it. The BBCs, listen to the newscasts outside the United States. Australian, you can find them online. Come on, use someone just text me and go, yeah, but where? You can find them. Just Google it. Google News in Australia or Google News in England or wherever, and you can hear it. They talk about his force of personality, how it has overcome and won people out. His own style makes you feel more like performance than a speech, which is why he's free to speak. He has high points, but he's already done the work and he already knows he's pretty much of a genius in himself. His mind is a genius mind. See, he might lack empathy. He might lack social structure. Why? Because when you have gifted bilateral brains, or your brain is gifted, there's very little room. It's like the Sheldon Cooper of the Big Bang Theory. There's very little room for emotional or empathy type of things because they're more worried about the systematics of how they're going to work stuff out. Okay. And then you go down to his controversy as a tension magnet, right? Often uses provocative statements to either engage you negatively or positively, right? Most of the time, if it's engaging you, whether you're going to speak bad or speak positive, you're speaking about the subject matter at hand. So he's played in there again for those who don't like him, for those who like him. He speaks his truth. He speaks in such a provocative thing that if you are unhealed or it's hitting you, Hamzagan, it's on you, boo-boo, right? These are the slogans that create his instant recognition. And you don't have to agree with him politically to see his force of personality. This is what we're getting down to. You don't have to like me for my force of personality. It's not your persona. Again, are you like this? Are you like this? Are you like this? Where's the energetic field that balances you? And where's your target marketing? Where's the target for that? Everybody has a target of force of their personality. Figure yours out. If you need help, I'm always here, right there. Where is it? Right there. The World of Conscious Positive Thinking at NBR.us. Oh, and by the way, there's a little one. TWOCPT. Instead of writing all those words, which we didn't think of prior to, it is TWOCAP, TWOCPT. That is almost every username I have for this show. It's easy to remember, 2 caps, right? So again, whether you choose to like him or not, you can understand the personality of force, commanding attention, projecting certainties, and making people feel like he's literally speaking directly to them. Okay? Now, if you do like him, I can also break down how Trump's style compares to a softer, like on me, from my more spiritual side, right? So let's break that down real quick. So Trump's core energy, you guys, people who are spiritual, the core energy of force of spirituality, he's assertive, he's high impact, and he's often combative. But for a spiritual leader or the spiritual style like myself to inspire the uplift, I'm more calm, I'm more magnetic, and I'm more heart-centered. Now, me being calm, I can be calm when I'm sitting. And it's really funny because I am a Templar. I know my past life. I'm a Templar. I'm a warrior. I would have never been in the United States Air Force. Okay. So for me, I've had to control that energy of being assertive. I had to control. I was born in an assertive energy, the Capricorn energy, right? I had to learn to calm that back. I had to learn to speak from my heart. It's a learned process by man, but it can be done. Again, as a healer, as me, who I am in comparison to Trump, this is how I do this. This is where I'm like, why do I have such a bad taste in my mouth? Or why do I have such a positive taste in my mouth? So I break these down. So the primary driver for Trump is winning, control, assertiveness, brand dominance. Where for me, healing, truth sharing, collective growth, balance, like these aren't part of my primary drive, right? So do you see my dysfunction already? It didn't used to be, but I learned to balance these things. Communication. He's very bold, slogan, slanders, short, repetitive, high volume. My communication is storytelling, telling you how I live through things and how I flip the pattern, reflective pausing, giving you a time to reflect, to honor that, to dig deep in your soul, measure my tone. Do you see how far away I am from this particular person? Maybe you are too. I don't know. But what draws us in? I didn't vote this year. It doesn't really matter why. But had I voted, the vote would have gone to Mr. Trump. It would have. But why would it, MJ? Think about that. Why? Nothing here is part of who I am. Body language. He is very large gesture. He's pointing, he's leaning, he's aggressive. I don't find I'm aggressive. I might be a little aggressive, but I'm more with my palms open wide. I'm more with trying to show you where things are, how dynamic they can be, grounding energetically. Then it goes to emotional impact. It provides that strong reaction on Mr. Trump, where mine is more of a sense of safety, more openness, more connecting to your energy to try to heal you. Again, we're not connecting. Brand consistency. Look at him. He's always in either a red tie or a blue tie. If he's in a red tie, he's in a blue suit. If he's in a black suit, he's in a blue tie. Have you noticed that? Take aware of it. He always has his slogan caps, subliminally telling you he's number 45 and 47, subliminally telling you MAGA, subliminals. These are now subliminals. These are direct color codes, red, white, and blue. Nothing embodies that. But my branding it's a flow. It's a mesh. It's natural colors. It's symbols. It's sacredness. Again, here we are. But why? Engagement tactics. He keeps the attention by stirring controversy, stirring the excitement, and stirring what most of us have been thought or pondering in the back of our head, but we don't say it. Me, I keep attention of living curiously and watching my negative words and my obstructions, but also claiming my truth in such a word, tone, vibration that it exists. And I also share a lot of my insights. Followers experience. He has the original, he fights for me campaign. That's what he campaigns on. He's the champion of mentally telepathy, saying, I am here for you. They're taking me out for you. Pushing that energetic on you. Whereas as my healer, I'm like, I feel seen. I feel healed. I feel guided. I'm nurtured mentally. The key point insights here that I'm trying to make is he pushes energy outward. He pushes it there as a force of the attention through the boldness, his disruptions, and high energy dominance. And yet a spiritually aligned pulls energy inward, drawing the attention through grounded presence, deep listening, and resonance. Do you see the difference? I still have my force of personality, just like Mr. Trump. But what he's projecting outward, I'm allowing you to come inward. Both command the room. Both of us will command a room. I can tell you, I can command a room. I can take presence. I can take stage. Whether I know what the hell I'm talking about or not, I can command a room. Might have projection because thespians taught me to project my voice to the back of the room. I have musical insight, so I know intuition of what balances people. These are all learned man conditions of how to source that perfect force of personality energy. Okay, now I want to put on something. Let me see what the time is. Okay, I have a little bit of time. Let's take a really quick break, and then I'm going to finish it out, and I'm going to put a little chart so you can actually see that connectivity. So let's just do a really quick one here. Where are we going to go? Let's do, let's do sweet potato pie. These beautiful ladies, stand up. You gave us permission, sweet potato pie. Okay, here we go.
Stand up for the red, white, and blue. Stand up for the values we hold true. With gratitude I'll stand as our flag begins to wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Stand up, put your hand on your heart. Stand up for the freedom it imparts. Bless all who stand for justice. Bless all who stand for peace in the home of the brave and the land of the free.
Airman Holland Pickard.
Specialist 4th Class Robert Summey, U.S. Army. Staff Sergeant Jerry Altman, United States Air Force.
Second Lieutenant Zachary Stead, Air Force.
Oh, amen, sweet potato pie. Thank you for honoring those who gave all. Thank you for being a patriot with your songs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, now I'm going to show you with a little graph here. Let me get the graph up. Here we go. Okay, can you hear me now? Sorry. Okay, so I was trying to take myself off of the screen. I guess I can't. So let me repeat this really quick. So this is the depth. This is the force of personality top style map. On the left side there, I'm showing you the connection of depth, and on the bottom, the energy output. 4 major people. Look at Dalai Lama, Maya Angelou, Martin Luther King, and Donald Trump. Look at the energy output. This is why the European, Asians, Australians, these are all talking about his force of personality. His force of personality is way up here. He amplifies that by subliminal messaging. His bold, his assertiveness, his high outward push, his lower emotional connection path, his depth. But then when you look at the Dalai Lama, look at him. Look at he's low outward push is the highest of depth connection. Why? Because he doesn't talk about anything negative. He doesn't use slanderous marks. He doesn't use assertiveness. He uses control, balance, and ascertaining an inward pull into energy. So this, now you can see where his force of personality is consistent with the depth of somebody coming inward. Whereas Mr. Trump, or President Trump, his outward projection is pushing and pulling all that energy now out towards the people. So sublimity support the power of the American people, the people who are the courageous. They are there. They're honoring the United States. They have pride in the United States, and they're the ones that impact. Why? Because look at your soldier: courage, pride, anger. Remember, we just did these. Those seem to be the people who are patriots of the United States of America. He's figured those patriots out, which is why he embodies the police departments and he embodies the CIA, the FBI, the military people. He embodies those. Service to other people, courageously giving their life. Fire people, paramedics, EMTs, any job like that you have in there. If you're Maya Angelou, you have claimed a moderate push, but a very high connection depth. You see where she stands? And now you go to Martin Luther King. Wow. He would be president today. I'm sure of it, had they not taken him out. He is the balanced push of deep connection, a higher vibration than Mr. President Obama for his minority reaction of filtration into us. Why? Because he spoke with his truth and assertiveness, his incentiveness. Do you understand how that flow now reacts in everyday life? You can understand now when somebody goes, hey, you want to go to so-and-so's party, but that so-and-so person drains you of everything that you have. And you're like, oh, I do want to see everybody, but you're very conflicted. Why? Because you dread that the energy that you're going to have to push out just to save face. There's the pushback on Donald Trump. His absurdness and his slanderous comments makes him an empowerable vision that people don't want to push because they don't want that pushback. Hence the tariffs. I'm just kidding. It's like, hence the tariffs, right? Hence those tariffs. Those tariffs are that push. You didn't like what I said. I asked for balance. I asked for this. I asked for that. But yet you're still not giving it to me, and you're trying to make the United States pay for the whole world. Well, I get that. He's looking for you. Again, you can have any parameter of interpretation by man on the media, but when you facely look at somebody in their presence on TV without any other man interpretation, you can understand the force of personality that you're dealing with. Take aside what you don't like. And if you don't like something about somebody and it makes you angry, it's on you, Demis. It's on you. You're angry. Why? It's not because of all these other things. I'm sorry to tell you. It's because you're not healed enough to understand balance. You're not healed enough. Trump, he's not healed enough to balance with the Democrats, even though he was Democrat and he was Republican. He needs to meet in the middle. Imagine the force of personality if he let go of some of the angers and resentments. But when you're going to say, and I get it, MJ, when's enough enough? I don't know, because I'm not you. I don't know because I'm not there with you. I don't know how unhealed you are. When I hear him go irate, I turn off the TV and listen. I have to watch the news because I'm on some of the shows here at Military Bro Talk, and I can't even understand and now I have to go in. But it's so funny. I used to get angry with the news, and I used to have a different persona of energy with the news. But now I listen to the news very openly going, oh, that's so sad. Or why aren't they balancing? And then I'm pushing energy for balance. I'm pushing energy for everyone to be happy. I'm pushing that energy as a healer, which I hope other healers are doing instead of just blind eyeing themselves. Get out of interpretational newses. Get out of the forced media. You are already being seen. You're already being seen. That's some great knowledge there. You're already seeing how since the Obama and Bush era, and it goes beyond. It goes to the Clintons. It goes back to the Kennedys and Lyndon. It is disgusting. You vote these people to work for you. They don't deserve to have multi-million. They don't deserve. Cancel, clear, delete. Do they deserve to take your money, replace your money without your acknowledgement to do something else? See how my unhealed mind at that one fraction wanted to change that? But I caught myself, and you can too. This is the force of personality. I hope that teaches us something. And if you want, I can assist you. You just need to tell me your anchors. You need to tell me what you are in. You need to tell me, like, there's some things that I need to know. And when I sit or stand with you, if I know you, then I can actually help you quicker. But if I don't know you, I need to spend some time with your inner thoughts, your process, what it is that your goals are, because this is where it projects you forward. Okay. So that's force of personality. It goes well when you learn about life purpose, soul purpose, episode 1. It goes well with episode 40 of Personality Matrix. When you start understanding how the matrix, we work unifiedly together as a whole, then we become wholeness within ourselves, love and selfness in ourselves. We go right back to what today meant to all you beautiful people who were born on August the 11th. And adding the number 25 to it, because we're in the year of 25 in 2-digit form. You are a world of an abundance of whatever it is that you want it for. So if you stop with the negative comments that you don't have money, or you need to look better, or you need to act better, or you need to lose weight, or please lose weight because of health reasons, not because of self-esteem, right? These are all factors, right? Everybody asks me, I don't fix my tooth, I'm on TV. I said, because I'm making a stance that I love me. Why do I have to go through unnecessary? It's not hurting me. It's not causing an infection. It's not doing anything except, so I call it out. I used to hide behind it. I used to hide. I didn't even smile. I used to hide. But my force of personality, you don't even see it. Why? Because the message is there. I'm standing in my power. I'm standing in my truth. And all I'm trying to do is love and heal and balance you. And when I come on here, this is my gift. My gift. I don't get paid. It's my gift. Right? It's my gift to try to help those who have suffered, those who are broken, those who are traumatic events. These are things that I love to help do. There is more grandeur, there is more balance in my life when I know people are balanced. There should be more grandeur in life and happiness in your life when people balance. Do you ever go into somebody's home where they're all bickering and arguing? Or they can't seem to sit on the same line? You want to leave. You want to just run and leave, right? Or you find that there's somebody who is already harassing or sarcastically or putting down somebody else's side of the family. You want to run and leave. It's unbalanced. It is human form that we have been trained to talk. And the one last thing before I leave this beautiful time that I had with you, when 2 or more people talk negatively about somebody else, they go lower in vibration, and so do you. So if you're going to talk about somebody, talk about helping them. Stop hindering them with your words, because that force of personality also plays an effect of thwarting the energy that other people understand about you. Okay. This was a fun one for me, because this one really energetically helps me embody who I am on a daily basis. And I know that if you just give it a try, it's going to help you as well. It's going to help you focus. It's going to help you relate to other people quicker, easier, and more balanced. Find out who you are. Put those as your anchor. Put those as your sensual projects, and make sure that you go through, the authenticities. Make sure that when you start going through, you have your confidence, you have your emotional energy, you have your clarity of vision, and you have your magnetic communication. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this today. My name is MJ, the World of Conscious Positive Thinking. I do have another show. It's called Beyond the Headlines, but we are not on tonight because I'm on with 2 other people, and they were carrying me for my 5 weeks. But when both of them were out, I'm not so sure I could carry that one by myself. I need their headliners actually to help to flip the patterns, but my Terry and Joel, they are okay. They just need radio days like we all do. Take that break, take that breath, and become with you and unite yourself like a flagpole. Ground yourself into Mother Earth or the ground and shoot your straight up to Father, Mother, God, who is the highest of power. On that note, may the angels carry you, take you with peace, love, happiness, joy, and abundance of what it is that you desire most. Folks, it's been a blessing. I will see you next time.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to Military Broadcast Radio. As we wrap up today's show, we want to remind you that the podcast of today's episode will be available right after we go off the air. So if you missed any part of the show or want to listen again, be sure to check it out. And remember, we're here to support and honor our veterans. Your stories and experiences matter, and we are committed to giving you a platform to share them. That's right. We're here to give our veterans a voice. So don't forget to catch the podcast and stay connected with us. Giving our veterans a voice.